Welcome to Wiregrass Daily News Sports. This is your daily look at sports in the Wiregrass and the Southeast. Dothan Wolves on 96.9. The legend producer Phillip Jordan breaks the news, covers the games, and talks to experts in the Wiregrass and Southeast. And now, Phillip Jordan.
Welcome everybody to the Tuesday edition of Wiregrass Daily News Sports. I'm your host, Phillip Jordan, the in-studio host and producer of Dothan Wolves Football on 96.9, the legend and Auburn writer for Last Word on college football. Our guest today is the Cottonwood Bears head coach, Dustin Harrison. The Cottonwood Bears are in 2A Region 2, where they are 4-0 overall, 3-0 in region play, and coming off the off week. And Coach Harrison, I appreciate you coming on the show and talking Cottonwood Bears with us today.
I appreciate you letting me get on here and talk about Cottonwood.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I always enjoy talking about Cottonwood. It's no secret where I went to high school, so we only try to hide that. But it is good to have you here on the show. And just Cottonwood obviously was off this past Friday, had an off week. So how was the off week for the Bears?
It was a great off week. Generally speaking, when you have a bye week in the middle of the year, the challenge is to stay focused and try to get things done and accomplished, during that week off. You don't want to go backwards. So when you have momentum and things are going well, then you have a bye week, it can be a negative thing, or it can be a blessing, if you use it the right way. And I feel like we used it the right way. I feel like our players got a lot out of it. We were able to practice pretty hard and go over fundamentals and really just work on ourselves. And we're able to rest a little bit. We had Monday off. They usually don't get a Monday off. So there are a lot of positives to the bye week, and I think it's going to help us moving forward.
So, and I'm always curious about this when I talk to coaches about the off weeks and when certain things start being worked on and everything else. After the Sampson game, how long do you go till you start? I know as coaches you're looking and you're preparing, but with the team and with the players preparing for that next opponent.
Well, we spend probably 70 to 75%, at least. I'd say at least 75% of our film study with our players talking about ourselves, and that's year round. I mean, that's all season long. We talk about ourselves and watch our game film, and we watch our practices. We really don't spend much time showing our opponents. Showing our players our opponent's film. Again, at most 25% we might spend on, showing our players our opponent's film. So we really believe in working on ourselves and trying to improve ourselves. And our practice film is really our biggest tool that we use as far as film goes, just to really develop ourselves and improve. And so, that's a big point of emphasis for us. But as far as like how long it took to prepare for Ariton, we sprinkled some of that in all along the week. It just wasn't our focus. Our focus was on ourselves, which it usually is throughout the week, each week.
With the 4-0 start, like I said, 3-0 in region play, what has stood out most about your team this season so far?
Just confidence. The players are much more confident this year than in years past. They're playing with a little more confidence and playing with more of a purpose. And that's made a big difference. We've done a good job putting a big emphasis on attention to detail, and we're going to continue to do that because the little things are what separates good teams, great teams. And this team has definitely started to gel and stepped up to the plate and decided to lead. Our players have decided they want to lead and take ownership of it. And we had some hiccups this bye week, but I feel like the way we ended our bye week, I think we definitely grew up as a team a little bit, and hope we continue to do so.
Yeah, I know when we talked during the preseason or before the season has started, you talked about that on the small things, that the difference in paying attention to detail. Where have you, in Pacifics has seen that, where your team has grown in that?
Yeah, I mean, it's all along. Small things we go over in film, whether it's the paying attention to the running back and quarterbacks depth on their plays and noticing the details on when their splits are different and when their depth's different, they have different plays called. Things of that nature, or noticing your offensive line, you're playing against splits, and noticing their depth and when they're pointing and when they might be pulling, and just locking into the little things, locking into the small things a lot of people may not think is important, and doing those things. Or it might be offensively, making sure that your hand goes down on the first part of our cadence when it's supposed to go down, and not delayed where it might cause an illegal motion or illegal shift if we send somebody in motion. Just small things that don't seem important but are very important. So just those different details, just paying attention to detail and doing things the way it's supposed to be done every time.
Offensively, I know you guys love running the football. That's what the Cottonwood Bears are all about. Cleet Meadows has been every time I read the Cottonwood recap in the Dothan Eagle on Saturday mornings, his name is there. Just talk about him a little bit and what has made him successful so far this season. Of course, the offensive line blocking in front of him.
Yeah. Well, the number one thing I'd like to say before talking about his offense is the kid starting on defense and playing almost every snap on defense and playing a lot of special teams. So what's impressive about Cleet is the fact that he's not just a offensive specialist. He's playing defense. He's playing special teams, and he gets in there and does his job on offense. So he's a team player, plays hard, plays hard all the time. He's very, very smart. Sometimes we joke and call him our Swiss Army knife because he can play probably 5 different positions on the offense and probably four different positions on the defense. And just very, very smart kid, very hard-working kid, and has a great family, great parents, great sport. And he's a really special kid. He's gotten a lot stronger this year, this off season. He really focused on trying to gain muscle and gain strength, and started eating the right way, and taking protein and doing the nutrition and really doing the behind the scenes stuff it takes to develop in the off season. He really put a lot of work into that, and he's gotten a whole lot stronger. He got a whole lot stronger between last year to this year. So he's having a great year, but it's again, like you just said, it's our offensive line has done a phenomenal job, giving him opportunities, and he's used them when he's gotten an opportunity.
Yeah, I'm always going to get any chance I talk to any coach or anybody, anything about football. I always like to bring up the offensive linemen. They truly, sometimes unsung heroes up front there. Your quarterback, Braylon Morris, and I know he's been a big part, with the pass game, but also when you do throw the ball, but in the run game too, he's had some big games there too as well. Just to talk about your quarterback for a little bit.
Well, Braylon is probably the best lead blocker that I've ever coached. I guess I've been in this 10 years, and he's one of the best blocking backs I've had. Even though he's quarterback, that kid is a very, very good lead blocker. He's very tough, very physical. Has a great mindset. He's very competitive, sometimes too competitive. But he's a great player, and he's the type player you think of when you think of Cottonwood, in my mind.
Absolutely. Defense side of the ball, you guys on average giving up 18 points per game, but last game against Sampson was a shutout. I know he had a big, good performance from Jaden Garrett, 4 tackles, 1 fumble recovery, and a touchdown that game. But also, I've noticed too, just keeping up with Cottonwood, forcing turnovers. That's kind of been a theme with you guys this year, hasn't it?
Takeaways are huge. This day and time, it's tough to get those shutouts. Just because the offense is so wide open, and a lot of the rules are kind of geared to help out the offense. And so, we talk about it. Every 2 takeaways is typically a touchdown. Usually every 2 turnovers you get to the plus, you usually get a touchdown at every 2. So that's huge. Those and explosive plays, turnovers and explosive plays are the 2 biggest components to success if you look at the statistics. So those are 2 big things that we really try to stress. We try to make a big deal of. And even our defense, what'd you say? It's 18 a game, averaging 18 points a game.
Yes.
And some of that's misleading. We got up and in a game or 2 and gave up maybe another touchdown here or there that wouldn't have happened had we not played young kids and things of that nature. So, that don't always tell the whole tale, but we've been really pleased with the defense. Our defense is our strength, we believe, and our offense numbers might stand out more but that's our defense is really the heart and soul of the team. That and offensive line, that's where we thrive is those units performing.
And looking to your matchup, Ariton, actually, good. When you mentioned there about your defense going up against them, just what you've seen from them. What sticks out to you about Ariton?
Ariton is a really good football team. They knocked off a top 8 team in 3A Friday night, and did it pretty handily. They're a really good team. They've got a lot of good talent, a lot of skilled players that are very impressive. Their number 2 is very impressive. They're a very good football team. Ariton's a very good football team that has really good skilled players. Their quarterback doesn't hardly ever come off the field. He's their kicker. He's their quarterback. He's their safety, strong safety. Sometimes he'll go to corner and cover the opponent's best player. He's just a very, very talented kid. They have a lot of very good skill players up front. They have a lot of good, strong line. They're a really good team, and we're going to have to play our very best game to be successful against those guys. And since I've been here at Cottonwood, we have not beat Ariton yet. So they're definitely a good team, a great program, well coached, well disciplined, and it's going to take our best effort to have success against those guys.
Yeah, I was looking at stuff with Ian, saying it looked like him and his younger brother swapped out quarterback early this year, but last couple games he's been the guy there for them. Defensively, what have you seen out of Ariton defensively, going up against you guys when you're on offense?
Same thing, just very talented skill players, very, very good disciplined linebackers that do a very good job reading keys. Their defensive line, they play a lot of different guys up front on defensive line, but they're all pretty well coached and come off the ball well. They're a really good team. Again, it's going to take a really good game plan and great effort from our guys. We're going to take care of the football and make plays when the plays are there. And against the defense like that, they're a disciplined team, so you got to be satisfied getting 3 yards, getting 4 yards of play. And know that that's okay. Every play's not going to be a home run. That's going to be a big thing for us this week. Is our guys got to understand, hey, it's not going to be a 30, 40-yard run every time you touch it, or it's not going to be a 50-yard pass each time you complete it. You got to be satisfied with 3 or 4 yards of play, and over time those will hopefully increase to more than 3 or 4 yards. But you got to be satisfied against a good defense like that, taking what they give you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be interesting. I'm going to be looking forward to keeping up with the game on Friday night between you guys and Ariton. And before I let you go, anything else you'd like to say about your team or the community there in Cottonwood?
We've been blessed. Cottonwood is one of the best, most supported football programs in the Wiregrass. Our fans love football and they love sports, but they love football, and they've come out, and we had the best attendance we've had in the last, I've been here, this is going on the 4th year, and we by far had the best attendance at a home game all year long last week 2 weeks ago against Sampson. So we hope the crowd will come out. Man, it makes a huge difference when they're there and fired up. It's a huge advantage to play in Cottonwood and play at home. That's a very tough place to play. Most teams talk about it all the time. Coaches talk about how hard it is to come in and play at Cottonwood. And so we hope that our crowd will be there and will be there to support us in a very tough, very, very important and a very tough game against Ariton.
Like I said, I'll be looking forward to it. And I wish you the best of luck this Friday night, Coach, and obviously throughout the rest of the season. And I do appreciate you taking time out, coming on the show and talking about the team and talking about your upcoming matchup with the Ariton Purple Cats.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
All right, and that was Coach Harrison. Always look forward to talking to him about the Bears. Like I said, they're 4-0. They were just outside the top 10 in the rankings last week. We'll see if they can get a win against Ariton, or we'll see this week when they come out, even though they didn't play. Let's see if they jump in there, but we'll keep you up to date Wednesday or Thursday when those rankings do come out. Before we jump into headlines, just remind you where you can find the podcast and me. You can follow me on social media at PJordanSEC. Podcast is available on all your favorite podcast platforms and the Wiregrass Daily News website. And, of course, get on Apple Podcasts, follow, rate, and review. Leave a review. I will read it on a future edition of the show. And if you leave just 4 stars, you are a straight-up hater. So now let's jump into it with some headlines we have seen over the last 24 hours. We're going to update a story going on in high school football. This show actually might be short than normal. We may be actually under 30 minutes here today on this Tuesday. But a Headland suspension lifted by the Alabama High School Athletic Association on Monday. I swear, saying the Alabama High School Athletic Association sometimes gets me tongue-tied, and you just heard me do it. Pike County, they're as of this recording, still suspended. Game was stopped, of course, after the fight between both teams, where Headland was up 20-0. Pike County forfeited the game. And how it went. We went over that. You've seen it all over the place here in local media. Henry County School Superintendent Lori Beasley told Dothan Eagle, "We did not get any suspensions as far as players, but I do expect fines for the school." Pike County's Mark Hurt expects suspensions for the players coming off the bench. And we'll keep up to date on all this. So Headland, they're on for their game this Friday against Greenville, which is a region matchup. So we'll see if what happens between now and Friday with Pike County. Let's see if their suspension gets lifted just like Headland's did. Now let's jump into what some SEC coaches said today. Now, Nick Saban and Jon Sumrall had press conferences like they normally do on Monday. Hugh Freeze did not. He's out on the circuit. Auburn's off this week, so he's different places. He was in Birmingham and Mobile on Monday speaking. So we'll jump in one certain topic that Hugh Freeze talked about there on Monday. But we're going to start things off with Nick Saban at his Monday press conference where he previewed the upcoming matchup with Texas A&M. Hugh Freeze Nick Saban talked about A&M being a really good team. He said, so it's going to be really important for us to have the kind of intensity that we need to have throughout the week in practice. They're very good up front on defense. It'll be a real challenge for us. And that's right, because you're looking at this Texas A&M team. They've got 7 sacks last 2 weeks, 7 sacks against Arkansas, 15 tackles for loss, and also 7 sacks against Auburn the week before. So up front is really good for A&M, because I went on the show with Richard Holbert, the sports beat, and we talked about this, and I said that this is going to test the Alabama pass protection this game. Mississippi State, not as much, but this will be the one where we get to find out where they are at on that. So now let's go into Hugh Freeze, some comments he had on Monday, and he talked about the Auburn-Georgia rivalry. Of course, Auburn just played Georgia on Saturday, losing 27-20 in that one. And he had some interesting comments on the rivalry. And maybe talking about some future scheduling with Auburn, Georgia. And this comes from the article over at the Auburn Daily. Well, I mean, the game has changed, and I don't know that we coaches have the power to do anything to really slow down changes, Freeze responded. And obviously, the conference realignment has happened within our conference, and I'm pretty confident that the SEC is pretty solid on where we are. And I think they'll enjoy the new rivalries when they get to see Texas and Oklahoma. And among the great rivalries that we already have in our conference, and there'll be some. I'll miss playing Georgia every year because I just got to experience for my first time. And then he kind of went on to say more about the Georgia game. I loved every minute of it other than the outcome. Freeze continued. I love competing against those type of teams. Those are some changes coming, and obviously with the NIL world and the transfer portal, we've got to accept those. And some of it's good, some of it's probably needs to be changed. But I'm not sure where it's headed or how we corral it and make the necessary changes. So, let's do the best with the current status we have. Now, that was when he was in Birmingham. Now, when he went on to Mobile, he also had to say this. He just talked about new teams coming in like he did there, takes Oklahoma. He says he has no clue on future scheduling. He's just talking about rivalries loss. He's being hypothetical. So he said he just wanted the people to know that he has no idea what Auburn's future schedules is past next year. So kind of interesting. People were wondering, does Hugh Freeze know something the rest of us don't? But it seems that just he was going in a hypothetical situation on that one. And I'll jump into Jon Sumrall. He had his Monday press conference, and he had some interesting things to say, and a couple things we're going to look at from Jon Sumrall, and really just talking about the team, the offense and the defense. He goes, I think our kids on defense take great pride in their work. One thing I love about the culture of our team and those guys come in and watch extra tape, and they do every little thing they can to help give themselves an advantage. They gave themselves a big advantage on Saturday against Georgia State, getting those 3 turnovers and holding that team to 7 points. Then he goes on, he said, there's still a lot of things we've got to improve offensively, but I do believe our guys have confidence. I think the Troy offense is improving each and every week. They keep going forward with everything. So interesting how they go this week against Arkansas State. Arkansas State had a really big offensive performance out of their quarterback this past Saturday. So we'll see. This is a team, too, that's won 3 in a row. They started 0-2, and they've won 3 in a row. They're 1-0 in conference play. It'll be a big game for Troy taking on Arkansas State. We'll see what offense is at. I think Gunnar Watson's played well. Still has the interceptions, but the negative plays. And just, hey, we know the deal. Feed Kamani Vidal. And it seems like that usually does work out for the Trojans. And lastly, before we get out of here, like I said, a little bit shorter than normal, a review. I always say on the shows, you leave a review, I will read it on a future edition, as always. And this comes in, excellent podcast, 5 stars. Yeah, don't be leaving at 4 stars unless you are a straight-up hater. Phillip does a terrific job breaking down Alabama, Auburn, and Troy and everything going on in the Wiregrass area. That comes from Brandon Eisman. Brandon, I appreciate that. I was going to give y'all some news about the show for Monday's show, but we'll hold that till Friday to let you know what's going on there. And that's going to do it, guys, for this episode of Wiregrass Daily News Sports. Once again, thanks to Cottonwood head coach Dustin Harrison for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. Got a fun show for you guys tomorrow on Wednesday. We'll be joined by the voice of the Florida State Seminoles, Jeff Colhane. And Thursday, I'm going to tease this, and I'll tell you who is going to be on Wednesday for Thursday's show. But somebody and people in the Wiregrass remember fondly. I'll just say that. All right, guys, that's going to do it. You know all the places you can find us. Facebook, Wiregrass Daily News. Go check out the Facebook page. Check out the website. Follow the podcast. Check me out on YouTube. You know all the locations. And we will be back on Wednesday for another episode of Wiregrass Daily News Sports. Have a good day.
Thank you for tuning in to today's Wiregrass Daily News Sports. Make sure to tune back in tomorrow for more of the sports you love in the Wiregrass. Check out the podcast at wiregrassdailynews.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Continue the conversation and connect with Phillip on social media at PJordanSEC.